that's not easy to do, to convey your brand in images and words and to make it flow. I mean, it's so intensely personal. Your family's in the reel. But that's sort of the essence of any authentic brand, is it has to really speak to your core values and your philosophy. And you must have, when you finally finished it, you must have said, that is special.
Well, I mean, I get emotional looking at it, not just because it's my family, but also I remember what, it took us through. And I think that it happens to be a really important part of what you do everyday basis, and I think maybe it's really special to me, and I said yes on the spot, and it wasn't just the reason that I knew I was coming to LA in the winter, because that was. But the fact is that, my oldest daughter is 19 and she just started college, so it's a fascinating thing about what we went through, and she doesn't know what she wants to do, but she found this whole sort of story about, book that was called Colleges That Change Lives. And she pursued that, and she ended up at Bennington, and she loves it. But I think it's one of those things where we have so much pressure as to deciding what we want to do in life by everybody, our parents, everybody around. I mean, I'm sure you remember when you started, for 2 years before you even went to college, everybody asked you, where are you going, what is it you're going to do? And you know what? You really never know. You don't. I went to this interesting meeting where it was very much related to this, and they asked the whole audience, and there was maybe 500 people, maybe 800 people, it's huge. How many people knew what they wanted to do when they started school? So a lot of hands went up. The next question was, hold your hands up if you were actually doing it when you finished college. Half of the hands went down. And the next question was, keep your hands up if you're still doing it 10 years later. There was no hands left. I mean, it's just kind of a whole dynamic of, you're always going to be open to change. And as much as certain things seem really, really important right now, because if you feel like if you're not going to do it, it's death, it's the end. You know what? There's an old Russian expression, when God closes the window, he opens the windshield. Now, this is a translation, and it's not very good, but I'm sure there is sort of an equivalent to that. But it really is, and I think this is the part where you might not know where this is going to be, that little piece of window. But you just have to be open to it. I don't know how to describe how you train your instinct, you don't. But I think maybe sometimes when you can take a moment and not to pressure yourself with logical reasons why you shouldn't do it, you just sort of let it flow to think, why shouldn't you? I mean, if you don't make mistakes when you're young, when can you? Because we all make mistakes even when we're old. But at least this is the time to do it. And you know what? It's never going to be as traumatic. Because even if you don't know what you did wrong, because I have to disagree sometimes, you make mistakes and you say, okay, if you make mistakes, then you learn from them and you move on. But how do you know that you're going to learn from the first time you make that mistake? I mean, sometimes you might make it 3 times until you realize, I mean, how many times do I hit my head on the wall until I realize this is not the right thing to do? Even though everything points to the fact that it is.